A fun one for you today. There's a new Phoebe Bridgers album out, isn't there? But we don't care about that, or at least we're not going to talk about that today. It's not deserving of the rave reviews. That's at least my take on it. No, we're going to have a look at something much more interesting, which will get far less press, but previously has been pretty critically acclaimed. We're going to have a look at good old Lorraine. Now, Lorraine has, I think this is the fourth Lorraine album. The previous two are what I'm familiar with. The previous one, I Killed Your Dog. Ooh. And the one before that, which was called Fatigue. Oh, yeah, very familiar with that. Both very unusual, not instrumental, but experimental albums. Yeah, very unusual. Let's say there's an R&B flavour, but that R&B flavour is really mixed with like dragon fruit and yuzu and all the things that are very, very exotic, very unusual. Yuzu probably more common these days, but yeah, dragon fruit. Oh, mangosteens. I don't know. What are the other things? Durian, maybe a little durian mixed in there. And this is no different on that level. I would say maybe it's even slightly more inaccessible, this album, but so interesting, so exciting, really worth a look. And this song we're going to have a look at is called Borderline. It comes sort of right in the middle of the album, maybe slightly on the earlier side. What is a Fata Morgana? Do we know what a Fata Morgana is? Well, let me tell you. It is the Italian... Wow, we got some funky noises going on. Oh, it's not even me making those noises. Yes, that's the violin in the other room. No worries. Fata Morgana is the Italian translation of Morgan Le Fay from Arthurian legend, famously, evil. I don't actually know too much, but she's the main antagonist against King Arthur, from what I can glean. But I'm not sure what that has to do with the concept of Fata Morgana, which these days refers to the crazy trick at the horizon where things appear to flip over right at the edge of the horizon so that you can see them where they actually are and just above as well, but flipped. And that's why we've got Why We Love Music flipped here. Hilarious. Okay, well, let's have a go then. Let's have a look and a listen and see what's going on in this Borderline song. Let's start there. That actually sounds quite accessible and quite nice sounding. Soft guitar, slight brightness to it, but quite warm sounding overall. Playing a mixture of sort of different areas on the guitar. That's our first thing. Then jump up there and with a low B as well. So yeah, big range then for this guitar, low B. We would normally associate that with like a bass guitar, really. That's quite low for a guitar. So maybe we're playing on a 7-string or something like that, but it's got a much softer sound than a normal 7-string. And we're constantly getting notes. Something like that. Let's hear it a couple more times. Not a low B actually. B was there. And then we got something like a low D. Okay, well now we seem to be in quite a different world. Yeah, okay, so we had this here before, and now we've got, well, it sounds very similar, it's just in a different place. And can't exist in the same key, really. Could, I suppose, exist... No, it doesn't even work in an octatonic. We've got 3 notes right next to each other here. We've got A sharp and B. And we were getting a kind of B or a D-ish kind of feel. But then this kind of place is more... If we interpret it as the same kind of thing, that with that B bass note, then this would be in E flat or D sharp. So they're not very closely related at all. Wow. So right out of the gate here, we've moved somewhere pretty strange. And you could feel that shift as well. It felt like we were going somewhere in the middle as well before we ended up here. There's also these zip, zip, reversed kind of sounding, I think, vocals as well going on. Yeah, sounds like we're going somewhere else again, doesn't it? I'll just go back a little bit. Yeah, it's a complex shift, but you can hear this kind of upwards line in several different places. Let me just, at this first instance, I'll try and work out exactly what's going on. That's a note I didn't get the first time. There's an E there. Okay, so that's a slight change of this one to this. Okay. Oh, okay. They're not very similar to each other. Oh, they're kind of similar. And then we're up in this higher place. And then we get yeah, so we do get the E flat there, and the same relationship between that and the low note. The low note, I guess, colours it less like an E flat minor in first inversion, and more like a G major with a 6, something like that. Very lush, soft. You know, there aren't too many explicit dissonances here, but it's just when we're shifting from place to place that it feels really, really dissonant. So that's going to be up there, yes. And then with that, great. Okay, so it is following a pattern that what we started with here. With those notes, and then that, and then we had our shift of stuff, then up here it so far is following a pattern. I don't know if that later part is going to be repeated, but we're up to about that now. That's the same. Boom. Yeah. Boom. Doo-doo. Yep. Okay, but then we get an extra one there, which I don't think we got the first time. Oh, gosh. So what does that make the whole thing? Let's hear it again. Yeah, so we've got our first 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then low notes, even lower notes. octave and a second above. I'm being a bit anal here, but I'm not going to do this for the whole thing, I promise. Then we got something like that. No, I think it is that. Then we start our sort of descent model. And then we shift to the next sequence. That last one, yeah, that last one isn't quite the same, so we go. Boom, dum, dum. So that's actually queuing up what we go around the place with. That sort of added 9 major chord there, which is a G flat major 9, no, G flat added 9 chord. Very soothing and soft sound, especially with this spread arpeggiated guitar. Yeah. Then we jump up to there. Yeah, it's that. So it's the same kind of notes. Then we start our jumping around again. But then we have that shift up a tone, which sort of guides us towards where we start again. I'm not convinced by that, but that is what happens. Yeah, so we go from this C add 9 to this strange other place, starting on an F sharp. Now the C chord, a really nice chord as it is, but it's about as far as we can be from that F sharp. So all this to say, this is quite a complicated start with a lot of movement, a constant quaver movement, and some of it seems to settle around places. Even then, we've got some slight semitone dissonances, not too intense, and it's always moving with this kind of thing. You know, it sets up those notes. How many notes have we got? 1, 2, 3. That high note's the same. 4, 5, 6. Not that one though. Yes, 6. 6 notes out of 7 for a key. Just set up straight away, and then we start this shift. We move all those to a different place. Same relationship between the notes, but then they're just in a different place, in a different key, basically. And the key change is quite extreme as well, because we go from sort of centered around maybe like a B minor, something like that, to an E flat minor. Big change of key without any kind of real leading to it. It just feels like it has this strange chord in the middle. What is it the first time? So we've gone from, yes, from there to B. That's pretty normal, that one. Yeah, we add the G sharp there, so I guess we do get the 7th note. Do we? No, because we've been doing that. So we change that one. We get this strange B, then we get a strange, well, an F sharp major thing, which is the same as F sharp major 9, which is the same as G sharp major 9, which we have in the next section. And then we're just there. So it's almost as if landing on that is what takes us to the next section, which is very different the second time round. Are you following? This is quite complicated, isn't it? I feel like I'm not doing the best job of explaining, but yeah, so the first time we land on that F sharp added 9, and then we just go up into our repeated phrase, up in this new key. The second time we get it, we get we finish on that C, and what do we have before the C? A B flat, I suppose. we had one of those. And so if we were going to continue the sequence, we would start here, and then we would sort of be in A minor after that. But it doesn't do that. We get that C, and then we just shift into an entirely different place. So what we love about this is we love unexpected chord changes. We do love those. Those are very fun. And this is loads of those, to a point where it's sort of overwhelming. Right at the beginning, we're just in the first 12 seconds of a piece when we are sort of establishing key centers and then totally moving to a different one with unexpected chord changes. Okay, really fun. What else do we have that we love here? I would say we love a warm and bright guitar as well, so I'm gonna put that. It feels R&B coded, I would say, this guitar. You might get it in lots of sort of soft kind of sounding Quiet Storm stuff, maybe. I don't know. You wouldn't get it quite as to the forefront in that. But yeah, it's got that lowness and it's got that brightness as well. So it's very pingy, but also nice and soft in the where it matters. Okay, so we love a warm and bright guitar, very soft, very enjoyable, and we love unusual key relationships, I suppose. Sort of this B minor to this E flat minor. Yeah. How do we write that? Unusual key relationships, I suppose. Unusual key changes. All right, let's just put that. Unexpected chord changes, unusual key changes. What are our normal key changes, you might ask? We don't get too many, but something that we might consider normal would be a truck driver key change, where we go, for instance, from here suddenly we're here and we get the same music, right? And we're just slowly shifting up by a tiny amount, or maybe even a slightly big amount. And you can even put in a chord in the middle. You could do and that's a more standard chord change. Yeah, other ones that might be considered standard would be things like moving to the dominant chord. So if we're in B major, I don't know why I would start in B major, but then if we had something like that, now we're suddenly in F sharp major. Okay, there's plenty of key changes that are usual, but this one from here to here, that is not a usual key change. That is quite weird, and it happens so fast in this song as well, so uncontrollable. Let's see how it continues. So that was the same chord sequence there, but with a melody over the top. Pretty simple melody in comparison. Arpeggiated, an arpeggiated D major chord. That's pretty good. That's got a lot of notes in common with what was going on. It doesn't have the B, but it's still in the same key. So that works right. And then as we change, we get something more like sort of the same kind of thing, but in that new key. Okay, so more like a G flat major arpeggio. That's cool. So they're both working together, and one of them is doing a lot more heavy lifting than the other, but the melody is really very much in the same place. got a weird thing holding on in the background. I think it's this fifth, so B flat and F, and that seems to be holding even as we're changing chords here. I wonder if it's going to be a big clash. It kind of works in one of the keys. It works in the E flatty one. It does not work in the other one. We'll see if it continues. Well, it continued just briefly, but then there was this explosion of other noise, wasn't there? Up in this kind of range, much higher than everything else that's going on. This explosion of noise, and it's tonal noise, but it feels slightly microtonally off. This is something we love. Microtonal offness. You know, it's associated with like with lo-fi sound, when you have sort of like two keyboards and one of them plays slightly lower, so you get, as you change chord, it sort of feels like it's not quite in the right place. I'll try and give an example now. So if I have this nice C major chord here, and then I change to a D minor chord, but I shift it down, yeah, something like that. If it just stays in the same place, that's the difference. But then if it has microtonal switch, oh, that's a bit much. I'm trying to do this manually. There's the C, there's the slightly off D, right? It's pretty fun. We like microtonal offness, and we've got a bit of that here. A little bit of an extra embellishment to the melody there. So actually we've got the B there, which is fun because we didn't really have, well, we had a few notes in common. I guess we had this F sharp, which sort of turns to a G flat. But we hadn't had the B confirmed to us. Actually, that's not true. We did have it in a different part. Yeah. So never mind about that. In fact, we didn't have too much of the F sharp. But yeah, so there are in fact at least two notes similar between these two keys, the B especially and the F sharp. Link them, but it's just basically everything else that shifts around those two notes. And you don't get a lot of similarity from hearing those notes because they exist in very different contexts in the two different keys. Some more backwardsy stuff. We should also point out that these two different phrases are not the same length. So this first one, because we've got that extra chord at the end, what do we have overall? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2 sets of 4, then 3, 4, 5, 6 there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not quite right, but that's okay. 5, 6, 7. That other time. Okay. So we have 6 sets of 4 the first time, 7 sets of 4 the second time. How many 4s is that? Well, it's 13 4s, so that's not equal, is it? And it's quite an unusual number altogether. But yeah, at least they're paired in 4s, but yeah, we've got definitely an unusual time signature here and an unreliable time signature as well. So what do we put? Changing time signatures, I suppose. Yeah, most music would be in one time signature for most of the time. You could argue this is in one time signature and it's just a very big bar, but I would say that we're regularly changing time signature, or at least we're adding extra small bars which are not with the same time signature as the main parts. Changing time sig. Lovely. It feels like we might be about to move to something else here. Yeah. Lovely. So, yeah, what do we have? Something like that. We've still got the 4s, haven't we? But they seem to have calmed down a little bit, not constantly moving. Something like that. Going down to F, and then the whole tone scale. So we haven't, as far as I'm aware, we haven't had that so far. Does that make you feel uncomfortable, confused? Where are you? Where are any of us? Floating in a galaxy? Somewhere in space? Scary. That's what the whole tone scale is for. It's for confusion and lacking a sense of place. Arguably lacking a sense of purpose as well. We basically move 4 notes down in thirds there. In fact, I think it's the whole chord. Actually though, we don't get a lot of that 5th in this chord, do we? We get the 5th in the middle there, I suppose. Yeah, and the added 9 as well. It makes each of these shifts seem even larger. Although, the 9th is actually a note that each shift has in common with the one after it. We've got the 9th there for the first one. It's still there, but now the 9th is here. It's still there, but now the 9th is here. It's still there, but now the 9th is here. Okay, so they do have a strangeness in common. It's just not what we would expect of a sequence at all. You would only ever get 2 of these in the same key. So, absolutely fine to think of these 2 together. But not this one as well. You could think of these 2 together, but not this one. Okay. So where is our key center? It's not really clear at all, but we are waiting on 2 specific chords. We wait on the F, and we wait on that E flat there. Okay. The F is new, but the E flat I guess is not, although it's an E flat major here with an added 9 rather than E flat minor. Okay, so still it's a very different place to how it sounded in the previous section. That's fun, really fun. Let's see if they're equal lengths, shall we? Okay, they're not. The first G and F1, that's worth 5 sets of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, but they're not equal. But they're only not equal because of those moving chords. Because of this 1, 2, 3. We have 3 moving chords there, whereas here we only had 1. So if we take 1 away from the first, we've got 4, so we stop on that low chord for 4. And then if we take 3 away from the 7, we also get 4. So we stay on those low notes for the same length. They are equal both times. It's just the movement that is bigger in one half. Okay, we've also got a bit more percussion in this section, haven't we? In fact, we've got percussion in this section. Let's hear it again. The reverb is taking over and we've got this, which is just a repetitive pattern. It's not played on any clear specific drums. It seems like some kind of high, this kind of sound, slightly pitched as well. But I don't think that's really relevant. I don't think it's trying to get something in key with anything else. We do like unusual percussion, definitely. So let's get that in. Unusual perk. Let's just put perk. Oh, that says pack. Perk. Nice. Yeah, it's a overall very strange atmosphere, isn't it? We've got this very sultry voice, soft, warm, relaxed, alongside quite an up-tempo percussion, moving quite a lot, and then we've got this constant movement from the guitar. It feels quite intense. The percussion has got now several layers. I think it's not just the duk, 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 but there's something else in the right headphone as well. Wow, something interesting there. I think, yeah, it's something like that. So on those moving chords there, we had an extra vocal which was da 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 da, full chromatic line, and moving down at the same time as the chords means that we get this kind of sus forte major. Same thing. I don't think we get it on the last one there, but yeah, really fun, really fun. So that's our first proper chromatic line. I guess we do like chromatic lines. They can be overdone, but we're going to put it on. Chromatic. Melodies. Chromatic really just refers to anything which doesn't fit in a key. But here it's specifically descending in a chromatic fashion. We also like whole tone. Whole tone is rare enough that we can put it on here, I think. Whole tone. Yeah. Lovely. Keeping on going. Just little sounds of extra stuff in the background. Ooh. Ah. Wow, and a very big change of drums there. So yeah, we suddenly again shifted back to our initial section with some more sort of pitched confusion, pitched noise in the atmosphere as well. We've got this kind of wah, wah, wah sound coming in as well. But yeah, we suddenly shifted back, and then we added the percussion when we got to what part? Yeah, so we added the stuff a couple of fours before a proper drum kit coming in. And that's a really fun beat to have against those constant fours. What is it? It's like dum 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 dum. Let's hear it again. Wow, not my forte. Yeah, dum. So we've got constant hi-hat, sometimes open, but then we've got kick kick. So that's like kick kick. So after three, kick kick. And that's therefore going over two sets of four, which means that if we get to the 7, we might end up having a phase transition where suddenly that is at the beginning as opposed to at the end of the set of 2 4s. What shall we see? So there, at that point, that is what has happened. So that's fun. Yeah, phase transitions or phasing relationships is what we like. This is where things go from being in a certain rhythmic relationship to being in a different one, without either of them changing. That's the important thing. They have to basically stay the same, phasing relationship, whatever, we'll write that. So, you know, the 7 sets of 4 has stayed the same. The drum beat occurs over 2 sets of 4, and that stayed the same. But if you add 2, 2, 2, and 2, you get 8 rather than 7. So by the time we get to that last 2, we've already gone back to the start of the other one, and they don't interlock in the same way the second time round. We have to wait for a whole extra 13 to go round before we get back to the same relationship. It's really very fun, very used in minimalism from like the 50s and 60s onwards. Yeah, really fun idea in music, and relatively new. We've also got a bass in now, haven't we? And that's actually giving us slightly different bass notes to what we might expect some of the time there. It was giving us, what did it give us? Let's listen to another pass and we'll work it out. So there, for that to that, what are we doing even there? So we hit that with that, then it's yes, okay. So that normally goes to there. No, does it? No. Or does that happen? Yeah, that happens earlier. Then they both meet on E, F sharp, and we get that. That's good. Okay, so what's going on there is when we get our normal sort of transitional 2 figures, 1, 2, before we start in the new section there, we've got a new bass note. Instead of the B, we've got E, which actually makes quite a big difference. The B, we've got no sort of major or minorness to that, sort of just got this added 6. But if we add the E, suddenly we've got this much brighter kind of sound. And then we do have the same chord after that, but then when we go here, we sort of lost that chord in the previous sections, but now we have another bass note, which is the E flat there, or the D sharp. So we get a big kind of change to the sound of this section. Just with those changes, and then I think the bass is going to continue on doing some fun stuff. Yeah, there's also another sort of more tinny guitar doing the same movement but in a chord, I think. So together they're going boom, 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 and then yeah, to more like a B minor straight away. Okay, interesting. So we did get a bit of a whole tone thing going on there again, from that A flat to B flat to C, and then it kind of goes to D after that, but the bass, instead of going up to D, goes down to B to make that last chord minor. Very, very psychedelic, crazy stuff going on here, and recontextualized by that bass. We definitely love a change of bass notes. Bass recontextualization is what I'm going to write. Yeah, the bass is the most powerful of the instruments in terms of harmonic power, because it changes sort of what the root is in comparison to everything else going on. So if a bass is, if we just demonstrated the difference between having that B in the bass or the E, and yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg, really. I'll just put reinterpret for ease here. Reinterpret, bass reinterpret. Yeah, you can do so many things. Like if I just hold this D chord and put an F sharp on the bottom, so of makes it a little more dark and a little bit scary. Can I improve upon that? Yes, definitely. What about this one? Ooh. Well, that's gone to slightly more ambiguous. Not so scary. Much less scary, much more stable ground. And there we are, back to our perfect place. So the bass makes a huge amount of difference. I was just playing the same chord there with the right hand and moving the bass around, and it got very different kind of feels, didn't it? Fun. And that's kind of what's happening here. The bass has been added to an already established pattern and recontextualize it, make it sound very different. Similar kind of melodies over the top. I haven't really been looking at them too much, but sometimes we're getting passing notes. Da, 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 like that. Or, da, 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 da. There's just little changes, but broadly we've got the same arpeggiated melodies that we had in the first bit. We've got a kind of a change of harmonic meter as well. Because the bass is now here, you can feel the bass staying the same for 2 beats, or for 2 of those sets of 4. 1 and 2. Then we have the movement, don't we? Where does it go to there? Something like that. Yeah, no. Oh yeah, I was doing the other one. So it's, if it's here to start with, then there, then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we get that sort of softness, the relaxation there, which we didn't have the first time through, just from that bass holding for those two beats, shall we call them? I don't know. It's quite slow. 2 sets of 4. Okay, we're back to our second section. It feels like everything's crowding in now. We've got a lot more distorted guitars in both headphones now, not just in the right. And it feels very in your face with these kind of things. Yeah, with that chromatic line back in. It's like there's a song by We Broke the Weather. It's the 3rd one on the album, I think, on the first album. I can't actually remember what it's called right now, which is a shame, but it's worth a look up. Oh no, but no. Actually, I think it does do both. Yeah, so it's actually really similar. Cool. What was I going to say? Something about how this. No, I can't remember. Never mind. Let's go on. Hopefully it'll come to me. Yes. So the melody here is slightly more intense. We've got different relationships to what we had in the previous section. The previous section with these arpeggios, pretty comfortable, pretty airy and out of the way of any discord that's going on in the harmony. But here, well, that all fits in one key, which is nice. But we're still playing with the sharpened 11 relationship to that F. 99 Luftballons. That's not it, is it? And we've got that suspended 4th there, and then we have the chain of them, don't we? So lots of more intricate dissonances to the chord here in the melody. Things going on in the background that are just crowded out. Yeah, this is a I would say it's a benefit of the or at least it works really nicely in this song, is that some things are so loud that other things don't quite make it through. And I think murkiness can be awful, but here it really works. It's something we love about the recording of this, at least I do. Me, the plural. Murkiness, so things are in your face, and other things are really crisp and clear, but then there's this kind of behind the scenes, hard to make out stuff as well. I think there are some extra voices that are just getting mostly lost, but there's just enough to give you, you know, an Interstellar where you can't hear what he's saying in those bits. It's just the same kind of thing. You're like, oh, I really wish I had total clarity here, but I'm not being given it. Also, worth noting, we've kept the main drum loop here, haven't we? Which we didn't have the first time through. So everything is building. We're getting more and more texture here. Feels like we've gone to a solo of some kind. Doing something distorted in the right headphone. There's some real wishy-washy slidey stuff, doing that kind of thing, going on in the distortion. Okay, we're slowly walking up that scale. We're at A now, which is nice and bright on the F chord. There's B flat. B flat works very nicely with the E flat chord that we finish on there, so we're actually going for mostly consonant relationships here. They're just not quite setting straight in, they set in slightly later. Gone back down to G, was it F? Maybe it was F. A lot of repetition between the two actually, and then we're going back up. Also in the left we've got zip 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 zip, very strange non-tonal noise. And very unpredictable. And we've made it all the way up to a D now in that. So improvisation, we love improvisation, and it feels like even if these things were programmed in, that they are free in a way that a lot of this isn't actually. A lot of this is very meticulously crafted. So all those notes in the guitar just constantly. Can you even hear the guitar right now? But yeah, everything else feels very built deliberately, and these last two elements that have come in both ears feel very free and unpredictable. Ooh. That drum part has slightly changed, hasn't it? Okay, some very strange drum production just at the end there. The hi-hat suddenly built up and then disappeared. Yeah, odd altogether. Loads of oddnesses about that piece of music and the whole album, but it's so interesting, so enjoyable. I think I get a vast amount of like emotional catharsis from it as well. That song, I'm not entirely sure what it's about, but it really, to me, like encapsulates this a kind of a journey through. Maybe it's a deep dive you're doing on the internet. You're trying to find the depths of a particular subject, and you're getting some information on one side and some information on another side, and then it's all just whoa, loads. My perspective is now shifting over to this different style. Yeah, not a complicated structure to the song, and it's really just A, B, A, B. But what we do in each of those sections is so complicated in lots of different ways. But again, also very repetitive. Lots of repetition. Not too hard to get into, I would say. There are some songs on this album that might be a little much for some. But go and try it out. Fata Morgana by Lorraine. I think one of the most interesting, one of the most exciting musicians making music Go and have a listen. It's really good. Have a good day. Bye bye. Have a lovely life. You're great.